Been fighting a squeaking issue on the rear brakes of my 2013 Ford F150. This is a super cab, not a super crew, four-wheel drive. Yeah, it's a squeaking, and it happens while driving. Sometimes, not all the time. I have replaced the rear rotors, and I've actually replaced the entire drum brake assembly inside of them, which is for the parking brake. Now, those were actually completely bad. They were not welded, but basically seized open. So those were screaming. Now I've got it down to a little squeal, and I pretty much got it down to, this is the caliper slide pins. I think there's a seized one on both the left and the right. I also had to, this is the old rotor on the inside of here. We'll see it when we get it open. But these are a drum and hat rotors, so there's a caliper on the outside for the main brakes, but there's also on the inside of here is where your emergency or parking brake lives, and that actuator had actually seized itself open, so it was basically always on. So I think what we're going to do is see if we can get the calipers off. It's pretty easy. We got to get the car jacked up, lift it by the rear differential, put some jack stands under it, lower it. My Harbor Freight thing is pretty violent when I drop it down. Unfortunately, it's a little bit scary. I got the truck backed up sort of into my garage, not because it's ideal, but because it's the most level place I can put it. Got some wheel chocks up in front, so it's not going to roll forward. And we're going to see if we can get this done before the end of the Watkins Glen race, the NASCAR Cup race. AJ didn't win yesterday, but almost. All right, let's get to it. Truck up. What we're going to do is actually loosen the lug nuts just a little bit. You don't have to take them off. Actually, you don't want to take them off. Just loosen them up, so it'll be easier once the truck is lifted. You won't be able to brake them because there's too much torque on it. You'll end up spinning the wheels. The other thing we're going to need is a big old flathead screwdriver to pull that little cap off to reveal the lug nuts. I use a breaker bar for this. You probably can get away with using a 1/2-inch ratchet. Don't try to use a 3/8. It will explode the ratchet, and ask me how I know. So I forgot to mention, it's a 21mm socket. Alrighty, so now what we're going to do, we are going to get these jack stands under here, and what we're going to do is actually lift by the differential. So it'll lift both wheels up at the same time, and then we'll get the jack stands under them, and then we'll lower it onto the jack stands. The lowering is always a little violent with my Harbor Freight lift, but that's the price you pay for not buying a super expensive lift. So let's get to that part. I don't like the dropping part. It always scares me. How's that look? All right, let's bring it down. There. Scary part's over. All right, time to get these wheels off. Time now. 21-inch socket, and then I just throw the wheel underneath the frame. I always do one side at a time and throw it under there in case it falls. It keeps it further off the ground. Alright, so we got the caliper in a vise. Don't make fun of my tiny vise. I have a better one. I just haven't put it on yet because I don't have the bolts to do it. What we want to do, what I think is the issue, is this caliper slide rod right here. This one's good. So what they should do is allow the caliper to move. They have this rubber boot on them, and they have an 18-inch, well, you're able to get an 18-inch wrench, or 18mm wrench over the end, and I should be able to just pull this slide rod out. So I'm going to pull that up, and they should be greased nice and good. So that's what I should see out of both of them. So I'm going to put this one back in, because this one's fine. Now the reason I threw gloves on is because to get... Ooh, this is why I don't normally like wearing gloves. Alright, to get this one out, what we're going to do is actually use some heat. I'm going to use a propane torch to put some heat on the end of this and see if we can loosen it up. There's going to be a little air pocket in there. Just see if we can loosen this thing up. Luckily, this one's not seized. The issue is I can't move it. I can't pull it out. So I can't pull it out. I can't push it in, which means this one is not moving along with this one, which could be why I'm getting that squeaking noise still. Regardless of whether or not this is what's causing my squeaking, I know that this is incorrect. Luckily, I am able to spin this. So what I want to do, I want to get this rubber boot off because I don't have another one, and I'm going to reuse it. So I'm going to get this rubber boot off. I'm going to heat right around here, and then I'm going to come with my 17. See, just spin this thing around, then I'm going to put the vice grip on it and pull it out. What I expect to get some shit for if anybody watches this, what I'm going to lubricate it with is Valvoline synthetic grease. I don't have a specific caliper type grease. I know I should probably use a specific grease, but this thing this stuff says it meets everything I need it to. It's high temperature, up to 400 degrees, 425 degrees, drop point is at 500, and it's built for heavy loads. It's exactly what this is. I'm not recommending to use this. I'm recommending to go out and buy, something that is actually made for calipers, but I'm not going to. I'm using this. Maybe that's what got me into this situation. I don't know, but let's get this thing off. So that was harder than I thought it would be. If you're doing this, it may make sense just to have another one of these rubber dust covers on hand. As you can see, I must have, when I did this first, I greased this left one. I did not grease this one, so this is the factory grease, this purple grease on here. What I want to do, I'm surprised I can't just pull this thing out. I can't even move it. So we're gonna go with the heat. Then I'm gonna go with the vise and see if we can maybe even put a hammer on there and just slightly knock it. I think it's just going to need a little bit of force. It doesn't look like this is a rust issue. I'm surprised it's not just pulling out. But we're going to get it. Just on the off chance this thing rockets out, I throw my safety glasses on. I got my gloves on because I'll forget that the thing's hot. Let's get some heat on it. Look at that! Oh, that fucker's tight. What in the world is going on here? Whew! What is that piece of... What is that? Does this one have it? What is that? Rubber piece has me confused because I have not seen this in any other videos. All the slide rod pins or the caliper pins look just like this, straight through. Go in and allow it to move. So this one actually lives on that side and would allow it to move just like that. This one, and I'm not sure how this is going to go back in because that rubber gets squished up. So right there, I'm not going to get that thing to squeeze back in. And with that rubber there, it's confusing because it doesn't allow the slide rod to move much. The rod the diameter of the rod with that rubber won't move inside of here. So it's almost like this caliper slide pin is supposed to be stationary. So maybe mine was right all along. I don't know. I'm tempted. I want to take this piece off, that rubber piece. Well, I don't think I'm going to get it. I don't think I'm going to get it back in with the rubber piece. Oh. All right. So we'll move with the rubber piece in there. Wow. See how tight of a fit that is? Just pulled all the grease right back up. Let's see what it looks like if we pull it back. All right. So it's still there. So I don't know. I'll re-grease. Look at that. So man, that wipes all the grease off. But I will re-grease, and I will put that back in. I'm going to put the boot on over it first. So let's just go ahead. And most of this grease is going to get pulled right off, it looks like. But we'll go hot and heavy with the grease. So there. And we'll fight her in. Oh, there. Must have gotten squished right. All right, get the dust cover over. All right, so hey, look, our caliper was not doing this before. We weren't able to get any movement before. We'll put the other one looks fine. What is that little speck? Get that shit out of here. All right, we're gonna put this one back on. All right, so that moves, and now we've got movement here. I think that's what we wanted. I wanted to see. I think this might be the fix. This was stationary, one moving before. So I'm gonna put this one back on, and we're gonna check out the other one. All right, we're going to put the top of the caliper back on. One thing I think we're probably going to have to do, and I'm just going to do it right away because these are real new pads, so they're pretty thick. I need to depress the piston in the caliper, so I use a C-clamp to do it, and just get it in there a little bit. It'll be really tight if you don't. See how I'm pushing that piston down? That'll make it easier to get this over the top. I'm trying not to twist that brake line at all. Okay. All right, so this will fit. Yep. All right, so if I didn't depress it, okay. So I can get the big guys in started. All right, now let's get this over the top. There. I usually put a little bit of anti-seize on them. I know these already have some. I guess I should tighten the big ones first. Well. All right, well, it's back on. We'll get the wheel back on, and then we'll check out the other side, see what we got going on there. All right, so we got the other caliper here. I squeezed in the caliper piston with the C-clamp already, so it'll be easier to put back on. And we can see we've got this pin here. This one's moving all nice and good. This is the one I'm not worried about, the easy one. That's actually the one I must have lubed up last time. Actually, we can just leave him right there. And what we got 47 to go out of 90. Yeah, what do we got? 47 of 90. All right, so we're We're on pace to get this done before the race ends. So here's the one that I fear is seized. Cannot move it in. Cannot pull it out. However, I can twist it. Oh, now it's more free. Let's see, can I get it out without having to fight it? Ugh. Nope, I can't. All right, back to the heat. Yeah, back to the heat, and oh, I gotta get the dust boot off first, and then the heat. Then this bad boy's gotta get lubed up. We'll put it back on. I have no disillusions that this is actually gonna fix my squeaking issue. I have a squeaking issue because the universe is punishing me. The universe knows that the squeaking drives me insane. It's embarrassing to me. A squeaking brake assembly just screams, I don't care about my car. I don't know anything about how it works. I don't maintain it. So when I'm flying around at 3 miles an hour trying to leave the fucking Road America parking lot, and it goes squeak, 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 every time I gotta move forward 15 feet and everyone's looking at me, it's just so damn embarrassing. I pray to God that this fixes the fucking issue. But I have no disillusions that it's not going, that it is going to. There we go. I forgot about the part where I was supposed to take the dust boot off. Luckily we didn't need to. Again, this thing looks well lubed up to me. I'll pull the dust boot off. I'm going to put some more lubrication on it, but it's just... Alright, so if I put that one on there, no issues. Real nice, easy gliding. Put you back. Let's see what this looks like. I mean, the top could use some lubrication, which is what we're going to do. We're just going to put some more grease on this thing. Yeah, oof. That heat's got this thing kind of swelled up. I guess that's just how it goes. Get it lubed up, put it back on. Again, no disillusions. This is actually going to fix my issue. Alright, so got it back on. This is how our slide pins look now. This was the one that I wasn't worried about. This one looks very good. This is the one that I struggled with, and it moves. It's got that piece of rubber in there, so it's going to pull much better vacuum. And the thing is, it's not locked like it was before. It was unable to slide at all. So I feel more comfortable with it this way. Let's throw it back on, and I'm going to get this thing back off the lift, tighten up the lugs, and it should be done. We got the caliper back bolted on. And basically, all we got to do is throw the wheel back on and everything's good to go. Lower the truck off the jack and then tighten up the lug nuts real good with the breaker bar and the 21mm socket. One thing I wanted to point out while I'm here, see, I was only sliding on this one slide pin before and not both. Now this one's harder to move, but it has that piece in it. I'm going to put the flashlight in my mouth so I can move the whole assembly at once. So I wasn't getting that full caliper sliding action before, and I believe that may have been contributing to why I was having an intermittent squeaking issue. It's really not even worth me trying to go out and try to videotape the squeaking issue because it comes and goes. It just seems to come at the most inopportune times possible. So I'm hoping this fixes it. I'm hoping this, obviously mine weren't as stuck as some people's could be, but heat on the end of these, especially right here, it's going to help you break these things loose. I didn't have rust issues. If you got rust issues, you're going to be playing with it a lot more than I was. I did have rust issues all up in the business of the parking brake assembly. So if you're going through the whole thing, it might be worth it for me to actually just get new calipers at some point. But I wanted to see if I could fix this first. And hopefully this helps somebody out. And no, you're not alone in the struggles of squeaking brakes. They suck. They make life shitty. And let's hope this grease holds up. Thanks for watching, guys.